What if I told you that the most dangerous path in the world doesn't start with a gun? It starts with a plastic stool, a notepad, and a street corner. Nobody joins the criminal underworld planning to die in it. They all think they'll be the one who gets out. They never do. This is your story. 7 levels, 1 ending, and a warning nobody ever listens to in time. Every empire in the shadows starts the same way, with a young person who wants money but isn't ready for blood. They look for the middle ground, the comfortable crime, the one that feels more like business than violence. For millions of people across Brazil, that entry point has always been the same illegal street lottery known as Jogo do Biche, the animal game. It looks harmless on the surface. It never is. You are 18 years old. You don't want to carry a rifle. You want money in your pocket, but you want to stay in the shadows. The old man who runs the gambling corner on your street hands you a plastic stool, a pink betting pad, and a black pen. Your life is now the sidewalk. You memorize 25 animals and their numbers like you memorize prayers. The ostrich is 1. The butterfly is 4. The lion is 16. The tiger is 22. The cow is 22. The cow is 25. You learn that every animal has 4 numbers attached to it, that the lottery runs 4 times a day, that the draw was never truly random. It was always calculated by the people at the top. The old woman who dreamed of a snake bets on number 15. The baker plays his car's license plate. The retired man bets on the elephant group every single day of his life and has never won once. But he comes back tomorrow. You earn pennies per bet, but what you're really learning isn't math. You're learning how to listen, how to read people, how to understand that information is worth more than any single wager. The police car rolls by every morning. The officers take their coffee and keep moving, pretending you don't exist. You realize something early. In this world, the real crime doesn't walk around armed. It wears a suit. You are 24. You've earned the trust of management because your numbers are always clean. Your pad has no mistakes. You've never stolen a single cent. In a world where everyone steals, that is a resume. They give you a motorcycle and a black canvas bag. Your job is to hit 30 different collection points before the first draw at 2 in the afternoon. You memorize the route the way a racing driver memorizes a circuit. Every minute counts. You move across the city with tens of thousands and cash stuffed in that bag. Sometimes more. You don't count it. Counting it means you're curious. And curiosity in this business gets people killed. You could be robbed, but nobody steals money from the animal game and survives long enough to spend it. The organization has a long reach and an even longer memory. You start arriving home with money in your pockets. You pay for your friends' drinks. Your neighborhood starts looking at you differently. And you start understanding something important. The real game is never written on the betting slip. The real game begins the moment the money arrives. You are 32. You got off the motorcycle a long time ago. Now you have an office inside a bar. What's written on the front door doesn't matter. What matters is what happens in the back room. You control an entire section of the city's north zone. Dozens of writers work under you. You know the name of every one of their wives, their children, their debts, their weaknesses. You manage people now, not money. Your most important job is a name. Nobody writes down. The arrangement, every week, you sit with a senior police officer and settle the numbers. How much for each gambling point to operate without interference? How much for each patrol car to look the other way? It's not a bribe. It's a monthly subscription, an unwritten contract that everyone honors because everyone needs it to work. If a rival organization tries to open a point in your territory, you send a message first. Courtesy before conflict. If the message is ignored, the response is different. Violence in the shadows is quiet, but it is absolute. You buy a new car, a thick gold chain, a house for your mother. You are no longer an employee. You own the street. You're 45. The old banker who ran your area died. You took his position before his body was even cold. Now, you are the house. When someone hits the jackpot, the money comes from your pocket, but you're not worried. The house always wins. It always has. That's not crime. That's basic mathematics. Millions in cash flow through your hands every week. Crumpled 10s, 20s, 50s, counted by hand in back rooms. You cannot deposit this money. Banks ask too many questions. So you buy a petrol station, a car dealership, properties in neighborhoods across the city, not for profit, for cleaning. This is how dirty money becomes real estate. This is how crime becomes a corporation. On Sunday afternoons, you sit in a private box at the stadium with a Cuban cigar and an imported suit. The judge at your table laughs at your jokes. The police commissioner asks you for investment advice. The law no longer applies to you. You bought the law. You are 55. Money alone isn't enough anymore. Money buys silence. But you want something deeper. You want love. You take over as president of the local samba school. You pour money into the costumes, the rehearsal halls, the floats that cost more than luxury cars. You bring in legendary musicians. You make the whole community pulse with life. But it doesn't stop at Carnival. You hand out food packages at Christmas. You pay for the surgery the health insurance refused to cover. You rebuild the sports court the government forgot about. You install streetlights on the road the city never lit. You do what the state refuses to do. And you collect a price the state would never have the courage to charge. Total loyalty. The community calls you Godfather and means every syllable of it. When the press calls you a criminal, ordinary people take to the streets to defend you. When you need a city councilor elected, you make one phone call. When the governor wants votes from your area, he comes to your private box with a wide smile and an outstretched hand. You are a king, and kings answer to no one. You are 60. You now sit at the table with the great families, the names that never appear in newspapers, the faces that never appear on cameras. You divide territories with maps spread spread open between you, like generals planning a war. This is no longer just the lottery. It's gambling machines in every bar across the city. It's controlling gas, internet, and transport in entire communities. It's government contracts redirected before they're ever publicly announced. The animal game was just the door. What came after has no clean name. Your word decides who becomes the next mayor. Your silence decides who loses. You don't vote. You decide. If anyone at this table breaks the rules, takes territory that isn't theirs, deals behind closed doors, says something they shouldn't, the sentence is passed quietly. At the same table where you drink the whiskey, you think you've reached the top? You think you're untouchable? You think you become a god? That is exactly what the man who sat in your chair believed, the one who sat there before you. You are 65. You forgot the oldest rule in this world. Nobody dies of old age at the top. Your son-in-law wants your position. A rival family wants your territory. One of your own partners at the table wants both. You can feel the ground shifting beneath you, but you are old now and tired, and you no longer recognize danger when it arrives dressed as a hug. You are in your armored car, heading home from a late dinner. Good fish. Expensive wine. Easy laughter. It was a good night. Then two cars blocked the intersection ahead of you. There are no negotiations. The game never negotiated when the decision had already been made. You know that better than anyone. You made that kind of decision yourself. 30 rounds of gunfire tear through the armored door and end your story. The next day, your funeral is packed. Flowers sent by the people who ordered the cars. Tears shed by the people already dividing your map. And the day after that, on the same sidewalk where everything began, there's a young man sitting on a plastic stool, a notepad in his hand, a pen behind his ear, that same look in his eyes. The glow of someone who genuinely believes he will be different, that he will be the one who gets out. He won't listen to the story. Nobody ever does. Because the most dangerous lie the street ever tells you is not that the money is easy. It's that the ending will be different for you. It never is. The cycle doesn't end. It just finds a new beginning.